Gladys?
Yes, are we going to start now?
Do you want to wait a couple of minutes or what do you want to do? It's up to you.
It's one more
Siguro mga
minute.
9:05, ganyan.
Yeah, 9:05, so that we can have at least 100 participants. But
Para
this would be
magising,
66.
yeah, magising yung mga kabataan.
They just had their JS from UP Rural
Oh,
just like
really?
last night. So
That season of the year, time of the year.
did we invite UPIS?
I think so.
Okay, and Philippine Science, ano?
At saka lahat ng science high schools.
Thanks. Which one? Can you post the on our FB website, FB page, that this TM PubMat at that it's happening now?
Yes, ma'am. We're actually streaming live now.
Okay, thanks.
Meron ka ba ng video natin, Richmond? We can play it.
Hanapin ko lang po, ma'am.
Yeah, we'll play it and then we'll start.
March, I think it's in the next slide.
Yeah,
February embedded it. Check.
Oh,
Check.
it is?
Yes.
This one?
Yes.
Oh,
Oh.
this?
Yeah.
How do you play?
Yeah, you just play.
Oh, here you go. Okay.
Okay. No sound. You have to.
Hindi yata naka-optimize, ma'am, March to video yung presentation when you share the screen.
Oh, so how do you optimize it?
When you share the screen, ma'am, you choose yung pang video siya dapat. Optimize with sound clip po.
Can you do that, or can you do it? Can you try it, March? So stop share muna siya, or while she's sharing?
Stop share po, ma'am.
Okay, stop share muna, March. Send this to Richmond, yung file na sinend ni. Do you have a copy of that? I think she also sent you a copy, Richmond, Feb, by email.
Ano yan?
Because right now walang volume. So I think when you share, sabi ni Richmond, you have to do it where? When you share screen, is it under more? Richmond?
Or si Richmond na lang mag-share?
Sige.
Si Richmond na lang mag-share.
Yes, Richmond, can you share please? Do you have that file?
Nakuha akong copy, ma'am.
Yeah, hold on. Can you forward it to him, Marge, yung email ni ano?
Hindi ba siya copy doon?
Or ako na lang,
Sige.
Okay, and to you. Wala ba siyang sound?
Wala kanina.
Oh, okay.
And then after this, I start. Tama ba, Marge? Ganun na.
May isa pang Sayang na video and then
And then, do you show the
Okay.
program or do I right away start?
you can just start and then sunod-sunod na yun.
Okay. Okay, good morning, everyone. I'm Dr. Gladys Completo, the current president of the Philippine American Academy of Science and Engineering. Ladies and gentlemen, faculty members, students, and guests, good morning and good evening. Welcome to the PAASE STEAM Career Month entitled Unlocking the Future, Exploring the Careers in STEAM. This event is not just a celebration, but a platform to illuminate the paths within science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics, STEAM fields. As a background, the Philippine American Academy of Science and Engineering, or PAASE, is a nonprofit international organization founded and incorporated in the U.S. state of Indiana on April 23, 1980. It is composed of scientists and engineers of Philippine descent who have distinguished themselves in scholarly and research-related activities. PAASE aims to promote the advancement of science, engineering, and technology. In essence, this month-long endeavor is a tribute to PAASE's 44 years of dedication. This virtual event will take place starting today on the 20th and 27th of April, aiming to inspire students to consider pursuing careers in science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. STEAM isn't merely an acronym. It's a catalyst for progress. It plays a crucial role in shaping the world we live in today. It fosters innovation, critical thinking, problem-solving skills, and creativity, all of which are essential in driving progress and addressing complex societal challenges. By integrating these disciplines, we can create a more sustainable, inclusive, and prosperous future for all. So join us in celebrating STEAM Career Month to learn more about the exciting opportunities and possibilities that await in the world of STEAM. Let's unlock the future together and inspire the next generation of innovators and change makers. Again, good morning to everyone and good evening. Let us listen to the inspiring stories of our guest speakers. Maraming salamat po.
Okay. Okay, so I'm Marge Peña. I'm the Vice President and President-elect of PAASE. And so together with our President, Dr. Gladys Completo, and my co-chair of the Research Expertise Council, we created this program to celebrate the founding month of PAASE. And so this will be 3 weeks in a row where we are going to feature some of the leaders in our fields, in their fields, who are also members of PAASE. So to begin the program, we're going to take turns introducing our speaker. Our first speaker for tonight is Dr. Elmer Dadios. Angie? Okay, Dr. Elmer Dadios finished his doctoral degree for an unprecedented 2 years at Laboro University at the Department of Manufacturing Engineering in the United Kingdom in 1996. Throughout his career, he has received numerous prestigious international accolades, including recognition from the Department of Science and Technology, or DOST, and the National Research Council of the Philippines. Dr. Dadios has a proven track record of success in leading robotics teams to victory in various competitions, demonstrating his expertise in the field of robotics, mechatronics, automation, and intelligent systems. He was the head mentor of the Philippine robotics team that competed in the 2009 USA First Robotics Competition and won 2 prestigious awards, the highest Rookie Seed Award and the Rookie All-Star Award. He has also served as a trusted consultant for both government and private sector organizations, providing valuable insights and solutions for disaster response and smart agriculture initiatives. Currently, Dr. Dadios continues to be at the forefront of cutting-edge research in robotics, mechatronics, and related fields such as neural networks, fuzzy logic, genetic algorithms, and evolutionary computation. His expertise and contributions to the field have earned him esteemed recognition as a member, an academician of the National Academy of Science and Technology, or NAST. Please welcome Dr. Elmer Dadios.
Thank you very much, Marge. Can I share my screen now?
Angie, kailang unshare.
Okay, can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, once again, I'd like to thank PAASE, especially Marge, for inviting me to be your speaker today. It is an honor to be to discuss to you about unlocking the future, exploring careers in STEM. So, as a little background of myself, I am from Mindanao. Mayong buntag sa inyo tanan diha sa Mindanao and Visayas. And I grew up in a very rural area. During my early days, we don't have electricity at home. Our hometown don't have electricity, by the way. So we just studied through the the candle and the uh, Aladdin's lampara. And we go to school for walking only. We don't have transportation in our area, and just 1 hour walk depends on the weather condition. And luckily, we don't have rivers to cross. And so, in my early days, I was so fascinated with electricity because I wonder why a little wire and a bulb produce light. So because of that curiosity, I choose to get electrical engineering as my bachelor's degree. And luckily, I was able to finish uh, electrical engineering. And so I work in an industry. It's a mining industry, the Marinduque Mining Industrial Corporation, and located just in front of Siargao Island, beautiful island. But I saw stagnant growth for myself in the industry. So I choose to shift my career to academe. I applied for a scholarship on the DOST Philippine Council for Advanced Science Technology Research. And luckily, at that time, computing is the uh, of the course in the Philippines, because that was in late 1980s. That was the start of computerization. So I was amazed also on how does the computer work. So I choose Masters of Science in Computer Science. And at that time, only the Salle University offered that course in the Philippines. So I was given a grant from the UST Castard to study MS in Computer Science at the Salle University. And I was so interested with artificial intelligence, especially on games. I was amazed on computer graphics. How does the things move on screen using my computer? So that's what I talk about artificial intelligence. And after finishing my master's in computer science, LaSalle offered me a job. So I teach LaSalle. And then to continue my professional growth, I applied again on scholarship for PhD in the UK. And I was lucky to get the engineering science education program, the ACE program of the UST. So I was able to get the scholarship for PhD. And at that time also, robotics is very in the world. That was early 90s. So in fact, in the Philippines, we didn't practice robotics yet. So I chose robotics and artificial intelligence as my field. So then when I come back in 1996, that's it. I really practice robotics and artificial intelligence. So today I'm going to discuss to you how these new technologies can affect your lives. Okay, so preparing you for FIRE. FIRE, by the way, is an acronym for Fourth Industrial Revolutions. So this is the uh, economic growth of a country. So this is what I'm going to shoot today. What is the status of Philippines in terms of Industry 4.0? Or we call it FIRE. And I'm happy to show to you the statistics worldwide. This is based from EduRank. Philippines is forefront of robotics and artificial intelligence, particularly De La Salle University. You can see it was published in February 29, 2024. So De La Salle University ranks first in all Philippine universities in terms of robotics and artificial intelligence. Of course, the others are also. But in the world, this is very important. In Asia, De La Salle ranked 268 in robotics, and in artificial intelligence, it is 577. And in the world, this is based on survey of 14,737 universities out of 180 countries. This is 757. That's the rank of De La Salle in robotics, and 1,541 in artificial intelligence. In other words, Philippines today is at forefront in robotics and artificial intelligence. And of course, on science and technology, because this is very important for our field. So the topics that I'm going to discuss to you, some backgrounds on what is FIRE, or Industry 4.0, and of course, how we were able to promote FIRE in the Philippines. So Industry 4.0, as you see, it started with first industrial revolution, second industrial, third, and fourth. So just a history, the first industrial revolution started in 1760 up to 1840. This is when mechanization using water and steam, this began in Britain and used in textile industry. So the outcome of this, initially, people are reluctant to appreciate or to accept this kind of technology. So they even had mass riot. They destroy factories. But in the long run, they found out that this improved the standard of living of the people, the society in general. It caused growth of industries in coal, iron, and textile. So those people who are against this automation proven to be wrong. So in the second industrial revolution, this happened in 1870 to 1914. This is the production using electricity. So this is the birth of electric railroad, electric cars, and radio communication, and also the birth of telephone and perfection of the light bulb, and the invention of refrigerator, typewriter, telephone, elevator, phonograph. And because of this, the benefits and wealth of new inventions and new ideas, the second industrial revolution is regarded to be positive and beneficial to the society. And the beauty here is each new thing led to another and therefore created a new age of discoveries and inventions. And also, the third industrial revolution happened in 1950 to 1980. So this is the automation using digital electronics and information technology mass production. So in this case, this is the birth of computer, digital mobile phone, and the internet. And technologies like cellular phones for digital communications has been found. The camera, the CD-ROM, and also the birth of industrial robots. So this is the start of robotics that is used for manufacturing processes. We call it industrial robots. And in this era now, we have the fourth industrial revolution. This is the innovation based on the fusion of physical, digital, and biological. Remember, in the third industrial revolution, it is a digital only. But in the fourth, it includes biological. That's why our research now is very complex. It's not only on engineering. Our research now is also involves collaborations between chemistry, biology, and other natural sciences, and even social sciences, because our research now deals with sociology, the impact to society. So in my lab, we collaborated with social scientists also. And so this is the birth of self-driving cars, a drone, virtual assistant. So we have the software that translate, invest, analyze, and identify. In fact, ChatGPT is one of these, the generative artificial intelligence. So with this fourth industrial revolution, the outcomes will transform the lives of people in the coming years. The report on Google's self-driving car proven to be safer than vehicles operated by humans. The application of Internet of Things will definitely automate people daily activities. We will see refrigerator that will text you if you run out of food. You can see air conditioners will switch on when we get inside a room and switch off when we leave the house. And we can have robots that will cook for us also. So the facts of the Industrial Revolution really in the last three industrial revolutions, machines substitute manual labor, but the living standards of people improved over time because more value-added work was created. Fire subsequent job growth could be minimal because many of the new jobs created might well be filled by sophisticated robots and machines. But there must be another jobs created which is not so difficult for the people. So evidently, the era of fire will introduce and undergo disruptive technology. What do you mean by disruptive technology? So this is the thing that will displace and establish technology and shake up the industry. It is a groundbreaking product that creates a completely new industry. For example, the personal computer really displaced typewriter. Nobody's going to use typewriter now. That means this typewriter product is also already obsolete. That's the meaning of disruptive technologies. The personal computer displaced the typewriter. And so the television also, the television industry, you can see Netflix, you can see personal computing now does these things. So it really displays other technologies, but create new technologies. That's the meaning of these industrial revolutions. Email, for example, transformed the way we communicate, largely displacing letter writing. Wala nang mga pinpal ngayon. During our time, we used to write pens, send that to the one we like. So postal and greeting cards industries will be disrupted also. Cell phones, possible for people to call us wherever, and disrupted the telecom industry. So there's a lot of things that disrupt. So that's the meaning of this. And so as you go along, there are evolution that comes in. So for example, in robotics, it started with industrial robots, and then it goes to service robots, then ubiquitous robots, and then genetic robots, and now we have a bio robots. So these things really happen so fast, so quick. In fact, now we can see telemedicine, the robots that will operate humans. So that is a fact already. So the defining characteristic for each of these generations are their salient features, intelligence, and the purpose they serve. Now, note that artificial intelligence is the main thing on making machines reason like humans. So they interact intelligent to man and its environment. So this is the key in developing more sophisticated and intelligent machines. But you should not be afraid of this artificial intelligence because it's us humans who develop this. Now, machines has intelligence, but with a specific domain only. It cannot follow how human being reason out, how complex our brain can reason out. Machines now can do things for a specific job. They are intelligent on that. That's why they are good only for a specific domain. So for example, in computer vision and machine learning, we can develop an artificial intelligence to look at people, to count people, profile objects, to look at the plate numbers of the car, but only to that domain. Okay, so these are the giant manufacturers or companies that are investing AI. In fact, the ecosystem players can be found on this circle. So, what are the things that we are afraid of AI? Of course, the replacement of job. Note that it was reported that the most jobs that can be easily automated are the predictable physical work. In other words, the data processing, data collection, so those are predictable. So these are really easy to replace by machines. For example, also in in welding and soldering, if you look at car industries, they use robots or machines to do that. But for unpredictable physical work like construction, forestry, raising outdoor animals, it's still AI cannot replace that. So these are the careers that really in danger because of AI. The telemarketers, bookkeeping clerks, compensation and benefit managers, receptionists, couriers, proprietors, computer support specialists, market research analysts, advertising salespeople, retail salespeople. But you should not be afraid of this because those people who are working here can be trained. In fact, there are reports that even teachers in China, this was in 2017, they had funds for $100 million. They funded the company, startup company, to develop this English teacher. And then, of course, looking at the market trends, there are, for 2030, it is expected 146 billion US dollars growth, income for EI. And the countries that holds the highest demand for this is the Asia and Pacific. And note, we are in Asia and the Pacific. So AI platforms and AI hardwares are very important. And then as you see this graph, the computer vision applications has the biggest mark for the revenues in AI. So if you look at the trend today, lots of startup companies, and not only startup, big companies are looking for AI talent. So this is really what we want to catch up, to supply jobs of these big companies and startup companies, experts on artificial intelligence. Okay, so the Philippines really trying to come up with educational systems such that AI should be the focus of their courses. So this is very important because the trend now is going down. They're looking for AI experts in their company, and that's very challenging for us to produce. So AI-related time needs to shift, and AI workforce effects are expected to be substantial. So the workforce will come from the young students. You guys are this is a very bright for your future. Now, I want to show to you how we attract younger students to study robotics and artificial intelligence in the past years. Because we started that, people are really hesitant to accept that kind of technology. So we attract students by simply showing to them that robotics and artificial intelligence is fun and easy. So if you look at this one, in my class, I used to assign my student to come up with a robot that dance ballroom, tango, for example. So this is part of the course that I offered to my class. My students have to make programs on how machines communicate to each other, on how machines cooperate, and showing them that this behavior of man to dance can be replicated to machines. Okay? Not only that, in early 2000, we were able to show that the machines really cooperate by showing them that it can play football. So this is an international competition. This is Philippines against Korea. So we were able to compete worldwide on a micro robot soccer competitions. So the challenge here is really how does the machine behave like a player, a football player. So it's a sophisticated artificial intelligence software. And also in connection with that, the goalie, for example, it's very challenging to make a machine protect the goal. So you can see here, even humans can play with machines. Okay, if you want to shoot the goal, that robot on its own, there's no remote control there. We built the brain of that artificial intelligence of that machine to protect the area, the goal area. So that's how we can develop artificial intelligence to the machine. And also, we develop a humanoid robot. This is really very fun because a robot can dance. So this is the project of my undergraduate student. This is the thesis. And they were able to make a humanoid robot and perform soccer football. This robot can kick balls also. This robot can dance. This robot can avoid obstacles. So this is the first and only humanoid robot developed in the Philippines. So you can see doing robotics and AI is fun. It's not difficult. Okay? And so much in that, for real applications also,
Ang AI at robotics, hindi lang
This-
for fun and games. Malaking
this
tulong
is the
din
brave
ito
robot
para
that we
sa
developed.
security ng bansa. Ito ang ilan sa mga pangunahing inobasyon ng ating certified expert na si Dr. Elmer Dadios. Presenting ang Bomb Removal Automated Vehicle o Brave Robot. At ito magiging primary user ng technology nito, ang Philippine National Police Explosive Ordnance Disposal dito sa National Capital Region.
The BRAVE project of the Salle University will help a lot for the EOD technicians. At present, we have our robot already, but these robots are being donated, being procured by the government. So what happens is we don't have this capability of always procuring these equipments because this costs us a lot. The PNP, it costs a lot to the PNP. But if we will be able to have these invented robots, it could fit the needs of our technicians.
At para mas maintindihan, nagsagawa ng demo ang PNP EOD NCR kasama si Dr. Elmer kung paano nga ba gumagana ang Brave Robot. At ngayon kasama naman natin si Sir Gilbert para i-discuss natin kung ano ba yung gagawin natin. Si Sir Gilbert ay isa ring robot operator ng Brave. So ano na po ba yung gagawin natin ngayon?
So initially, so, ang simulation natin ngayon is meron tayong unattended baggage na pinaniniwalaan natin na meron siyang IED threat. So, since the evolution ng mga remote control na ngayon na ginagamit ng mga terrorist natin, so napakalaking bagay nitong robot. So ang gagawin niya, imbis na tao ang papupuntahin natin doon, si robot yung pupunta sa bag para kunin niya at pinadayo nito.
Pinapagana ng both hardware and software components ang Brave Robot. Naglalaman din ito ng mga cameras kung saan makikita ang iba't ibang point of views nito. At syempre, Pinapagalaw ito gamit ang remote controller.
Ang controller niya, remote. Okay. Just how we construct the robot is that it has a software and hardware. So ang hardware nito, of course, yung physical component ng robot, plus itong control panel. Itong control panel na to, dito natin ma-program yung intelligence ng robot. Okay? Pero before that, kailangan natin malaman yung mga sensors niya. So malaman natin ang environment. So that's why nag-install tayo ng camera.
Isa sa mga pangunahing hardware component ng Brave ay ang claw arm.
Pagkatapos niya po nakuha yung item from away, natanong niya sa disruption site natin o disruption area. So ngayon po sir, nakatutok na po yung water cannon disruptor natin doon sa content. So say, it is ready to disrupt the item na.
Ang disruptor arm naman ay magdi-disarm ng threat mula sa malayong lugar. Naglalaman ito ng water cannon na may lakas na mahihahantulad sa isang shotgun.
Science and technology helps a lot for the PNP, for the needs of the PNP in with regards to national security. We need more technologies, new technologies that will help our technicians in addressing also the threat to competently address the threats, different threats within our AOR, and especially to fulfill the task that is being given to the PNP or the K9 group.
Isa pa nga sa mga inobasyon ni Dr. Elmer at research team ay isang web application na kayang kumuha ng road data sa pamamagitan ng artificial intelligence.
So CATSOL is a project for contactless apprehension for traffic violators will be for 24-hour basis. So this is really an AI applications, artificial intelligence.
At isa sa mga research assistant ni Dr. Elmer ang mag-handle nito, si Emmanuel Valencia, isang PhD student.
Ito Sir Jim, explain niyo naman sa amin, ano ba yung nagagawa ni CATSOL? So right now, yung CATSOL, ang pinaka main function niya is to help in terms of traffic. So CATSOL as a traffic management application.
Gumagamit ng catch-all ng artificial intelligence bilang computer vision. Ibig sabihin, ina-identify nito ang mga bagay na nakikita ng mga kamera.
Basically, parang in summary, yung catch-all, it's a web application wherein we can extract road data. Tapos alongside that, alongside sa road data, we can create analytics from it. So yung analytics kasi, it's a very essential para sa mga let's say local government units, mga traffic management teams. Kasi ginagamit na yung data na yun to essentially figure out paano ba ayusin yung traffic.
Pero paano nga ba gumagana ang artificial intelligence? Ang AI ay isang klase ng computer program na natututo sa
Okay. So the beauty of R&D, research and development is you can make your research commercialized. So this is what happened to our research. For example, in CATSOL, we form a company now. This is Intelligent Systems Innovation to sell this product. So that's how beauty on research and development, because you can earn money out of that through your intellectual property. So that is very important. So right now we have a company, we call it ISI. So these are the founders of this company, and we sell this product. And also not only that, in my lab, you can see a lot of people there also working. So we develop many things. So thank you very much for listening, and good day to everyone.
Thank you very much, Dr. Dadios. If you hang around, we will, after everybody has spoken, the students will have a chance to ask questions from our speakers. Okay, thank you so much. Very fascinating. Okay, Gladys, you want to introduce our next speaker?
Can you please share this slide, Angie. All right, but again, congratulations to Elmer. Your achievements are really inspiring. And now, of course, we'd like to introduce our next speaker, who is also has been very successful in doing his research and his own field. So the next speaker is Dr. Joey Ocon, who is a full professor and the co-founding head of the Laboratory of Electrochemical Engineering at the Electrochemical Engineering of the University of the Philippines, Diliman. He's a former chair of the UP Department of Chemical Engineering, and he has a BS degree, graduating cum laude, and MS degree in chemical engineering in 2011. And the slide is not clear. I'm not sure why. Okay. In kind of, and he obtained his PhD in engineering and science in the Institute of Science and Technology in South Korea. It's really very blurred. I'm sorry.
Okay, you want me to do it, Gladys?
Yes,
It's
please.
clear. Okay. So Joey is former chair of the UP Department of Chemical Engineering. He finished his bachelor's degree in 2008 with cum laude honors, master's in 2011 in chemical engineering, also from both of them from UP Diliman, and PhD in environmental science and engineering in 2015 from Gwangju Institute of Science and Technology in South Korea. Recognized as a UP Scientist 3 since 2020, he has been a visiting professor at the University of California, Merced, University of California, Berkeley, EMPA in Switzerland, Hong Kong University of Science and Technology, Osaka University, and Rainer Lemoyne Institute in Germany. His expertise is in batteries, fuel cells, electrochemical technologies, energy systems, and off-grid electrification, and he has led more than 20 R&D projects from atomic scale to energy systems research. He has published papers in top chemistry, physics, and engineering journals, and he has received local awards such as the NAST Outstanding Young Scientist Award and TWAS Prize in Chemistry Award, and international awards such as the Green Talent Awards, Hitachi Global Innovation Encouragement Award. He is an energy consultant in several organizations, including power companies and the World Bank. Professor Ocon is also a co-founder and chief science officer of the battery technology startup Nascent Battery Solutions Technologies. Please welcome Dr. Joey Ocon.
Thank you, Marge, for the introduction, and also to President Gladys. Let me share my presentation. Right. I hope you can see the slides now. Yeah. Once again, good morning, everyone. I'd like to thank PAASE for organizing this event and for giving me the opportunity to tell my journey in the field of chemical engineering and my journey as a scientist and a research engineer in the Philippines. Let me divide my presentation into three parts. In the first part, I'll provide my personal background, the trainings that I received, where I got my trainings, and in the second part, I'll discuss what are my current roles as a chemical engineer, as a professor in UP, and also the activities that I do outside of the university. And the last part, I'll talk about the challenges of doing science, doing research and development in the Philippines, and why it's important to have a core understanding on why you're doing this. Because you'll encounter a lot of challenges, not just in acquiring expertise, but also in doing the things that you love to do. So you always have to have a big reason on why you're doing this. Otherwise, you'll get frustrated. All right. These are just snapshots of my very short career so far. I've been working for, I think, around 16 years now after completing my undergraduate degree in 2008. I've had my fair share of challenges along the way, but I can certainly say that the journey has been rewarding so far. I grew up similar to Dr. Elmer. I grew up in Mindanao, so I stayed in Tagum, which is the capital of Davao del Norte, until my 16th birthday, and then I moved to Quezon City when I started taking my undergraduate program in chemical engineering. Our family is a typical lower middle class family, so you have just enough money to uh, attend some school activities, but you cannot join those activities which require a lot of money. I learned early about the importance of responsibility. We were trained how to write well in my grade school, and then I was also very active in participating in science and math competitions. So I showed pictures of a picture of banana plantation, because when you go outside of our home, you'll see a lot of these banana plants. So there are like thousands, hundreds of hectares of banana plantations just outside our home in Tagum. One of my earliest recollection in doing science was my very simple experiment when I was in grade school, mixing um, making colorants from atsuete or anato. This was my first chemistry experiment at home, and then I started doing other experiments like making gels from the plant, which is supposed to make your wound heal faster. Um, these memories are very crucial, I guess, when you start to think about what you will do in the future. So even if my chemistry grades were not really good, but I enjoy doing science, so probably that's why I chose chemical engineering when I moved to the university. I'm a product of the Philippine public school system. I completed my high school in the city high school in Tagum. So you have a lot of students in the school. It's a cramped environment, but it's very enjoyable because you get to meet a lot of people. I was exposed to a lot of extracurricular activities early on. I played chess for represented our school for science, for math competitions, for chess. I was an officer in the Boy Scouts, and it was very crucial also when um, I was convinced by someone from the Boy Scout organization to pursue my undergrad in UP. At that time, our parents didn't want us to travel to Manila. We don't have relatives. But fortunately, I met someone who convinced me that, okay, you should go to UP because if you pass UCAT and you got the opportunity, then you should try to maximize it. And then I moved to QC when I started studying for college. In UP, it's a very different environment that you'll encounter. I took my bachelor's and master's in chemical engineering in UP. I was active in student organization. In UP, you'll learn how to manage your time because you have so much freedom. I can get drowned with that freedom that you'll have when you reach college. I also started building relationships. In fact, around 15 years ago, more than 20 years ago, I met my ex-girlfriend, who is now my wife. So we've been together for 20 years now, and we have a baby a few years ago. I took chemical engineering, and if you want to differentiate chemical engineering from chemistry, this is a very nice illustration to do that. In chemistry, we're more interested in the reactions, okay, finding like good catalysts to facilitate reactions, understanding the rates of the reaction at the lab scale. But in chemical engineering, we're more interested in how to convert these reactions into industrial processes. So you get to learn about mass and energy balance, chemical reaction engineering, designing reactors to increase the yield of your product chemicals. You have to learn thermodynamics, unit operations and processes, and then also process dynamics and control. After finishing my master's in UP, I was already employed at UP as a faculty member. I decided to take my PhD in South Korea. So I completed my PhD at the Gwangju Institute of Science and Technology. I was doing experiments that are closely related to electro chemistry and catalysis fields. So I was making materials for batteries, and then you test them in um, for their electrochemical behavior and their performance. This was also the time that was really eye-opening in my part, because you get exposed to how the science and technology ecosystem is, the various pieces of that ecosystem work. It was this time when I was exposed to different international conferences. I got to travel several times in a year. I published my first journal articles, and I started planning for I will do when I return to the Philippines. Okay, so I stayed in South Korea for 4 years. Just last week, I was in South Korea to visit my old research group. So I met with my research advisor. So I returned to UP, and then after a couple of more than a year, I started doing postdoctoral work also in Berlin, Germany. So the work that I did in Germany was quite far from my PhD training. So I was doing energy systems modeling, energy policy, and I was exposed to energy-related consulting work in the institute where I stayed for my postdoctoral fellowship. In addition to my highly technical training, I also attended the Science and Technology Entrepreneurship Program at the Asian Institute of Management. So we went through a 7-month program. And in that program, they teach us about entrepreneurship, how to start your business, about intellectual property, understanding markets, basic accounting. And these trainings are really helpful, especially when you want to start your own company, build your own business. So if you add those years up, that's at least 12 years of formal training, from bachelor's to postdoctoral and entrepreneurship program. And beyond that 12 years, I still had to attend multiple trainings, summer schools, workshops, short courses, and also spent some time abroad as a visiting professor in different institutions in the US, in Japan, Korea, and other countries in Asia. Now, let me move to my second part of the presentation. As a professor in the university, you'll get to have a lot of freedom in terms of the activities that you'll pursue. In the top part of the slide, you'll see the activities that are more closely related in my work as professor in UP. So I teach undergraduate and graduate courses. I mentor, supervise students and staff. I work as a scientist, so we write research publications based on the results of our experiments, our studies, and I lead R&D projects in the university. And then there are also roles that are done outside of the university. So as mentioned earlier, I co-founded a technology startup based in Quezon City in the Philippines. we've been able to raise our pre-seed funding, and we're now employing this month we're now employing 6 full-time scientists and engineers. Quite recently, we also launched a new energy think tank. So I'm a co-convener of an energy think tank called the Center for Energy Research and Policy. We want to give advice to government related to the energy issues that are hounding the country. And we want to push for a more resilient and sustainable energy system in the Philippines. I also do consulting work. So some of my consulting projects are with the World Bank, with the European Union technical assistance projects. And recently also, I'm working with the DTI Board of Investments in crafting the Philippine Battery Manufacturing Roadmap. Now, working at UP, you'll have to do a lot of things, okay, to be able to survive. As mentioned earlier, I teach in the chemical and environmental and energy engineering programs of the university. As part of my work, I develop or co-develop new courses and programs. You'll have to serve sometimes as an administrator. So I was the PAASE department chair. You have to serve in committees. You have to continuously contribute to the scientific body of knowledge through the publication of journal articles, reviews, and books. The university doesn't have a lot of resources to do research, so you'll have to propose research projects, research grants, and you have to lead these research teams. Okay, and you have to manage your students, researchers, and staff, and then also organize conferences, workshops, and trainings. So these are just some of the activities that I do as a professor in the university. Our research group is called the Laboratory of Electrochemical Engineering. So it's in the boundary between chemical and electrical engineering, because you're looking at the conversion of chemical energy to electricity and vice versa. We started doing a lot of work at the center, so the electrochemistry and catalysis portion, but our group has expanded to doing atom level catalyst discovery research using density functional theory, and then we also do multi-physics modeling. We work with electronics and electrical engineering people for device level research, and for policy oriented studies. We have a lot of activities also in energy systems research. Okay, so the x-axis is your scale from atoms to grid, and then your y-axis is from picosecond to to 2 years. So our research agenda is a multi-scale research agenda. One of the most rewarding aspects of being a scientist is being able to contribute to the global body of knowledge. So you do that by doing the research with your students, with your researchers, and then writing research articles and publications. So it builds their capability to do the right way of doing science, being able to question arguments, being able to defend your arguments in your publications when the paper is being evaluated for publication in the peer review system. So since starting my journey, I've contributed to more than 130 publications in international journals. Another interesting aspect of my work is that you'll get to work with a lot of young people. So you mentor undergraduate and graduate students. 2 days ago, there was a crew from GMA News 7. So they featured our battery R&D team for their segment ng Game Changer in 24 Horas. So we're looking forward to that feature next week. Here in the photo, you have one of our graduate students, Ella. She's active also in Facebook under the handle Engineer Ella. And our team developed the first sodium ion cells in the Philippines. So we have a battery lab now in the country to do organic electrolyte, advanced energy storage technologies. We've mentored more than 30 masters and PhD students since starting our group. Some of them are already abroad for their PhD studies. So I recently met some of them when I traveled to South Korea, to Hong Kong, and Japan this past year. Some of our graduates are in the US, are in France, but most of them are still in the Philippines, most of our alumni. So this is the nice thing about becoming a professor. You'll get to see your students mature into capable scientists, and the relationship will shift from being a supervisor to mentor, to eventually becoming a collaborator and colleague. Another perk of my work is that you get to meet a lot of the great people, right? The best minds in science and engineering. When I was a graduate student in Korea, I was able to meet 4 Nobel Prize winners. Those are the Nobel laureates in the left. And then I got the opportunity also to attend the Lindau Nobel Laureate meeting in Lindau Island in Germany. And in the 2015 meeting, there were almost 70 Nobel Prize winners in attendance. I think this was a record-breaking congregation of the best minds in the 20th and 21st century. And then 2 years after that, I also attended the STS Forum. So memories like this, they're very helpful when I'm faced with challenges in my work in the university, because these scientists also face a lot of challenges, and they share their experiences. For instance, Professor Dan Sheckman, the person who discovered quasi-crystals, he was mocked by the scientific community. Even Linus Pauling told him that he's a quasi-scientist, because they didn't believe that quasi-crystals could exist in nature, and they were proven wrong. Okay? Another key perk of my work is that you get to travel a lot. So in 2023 to 2024, my schedule is packed with a lot of foreign travel. So I'm also in my sabbatical now. So I don't have teaching duties in the university. So I can choose where to go, visiting collaborators, doing fellowships, supervising projects, and also bringing with me my graduate students when I travel, so they can also experience how to do research abroad, which is we're still building our research culture in the Philippines. So it's important for them to see what's the culture in doing research outside of the Philippines. As mentioned earlier, we have a technology startup. We started this startup in 2021. It was registered as a business in May 2022. We have more than 10 people now. 6 are full-time scientists and engineers. We are revenue generating already from our R&D outsourcing contracts. So we have an electrolyte development contract with the US-based company. And recently also we got our second contract to do power electronics type of work for AC charger for a local company. Our core interest in the startup is a battery called sodium ion batteries. So it could be an alternative to lithium ion batteries. Sodium is more accessible in the Earth's crust. You can do away with the use of critical metals like cobalt, which we get from the Democratic Republic of Congo. Other things that I do is to use my expertise to help various organizations. So these are just some of my consulting work. I've done rural electrification project with the World Bank and with the EU Access to Sustainable Energy project. For some time, I was also an energy storage consultant for a local conglomerate, First Philippine Holdings. I worked on intellectual property with the law firm, just recently, we started crafting the battery manufacturing roadmap for the Philippines. And our goal is to somehow be able to convince an investor to build a gigafactory in the Philippines to support our electric vehicle transition. And lastly, using my expertise in energy systems and energy planning, I'm involved in an energy think tank called the Center for Energy Research and Policy. So the think tank will educate the public about issues surrounding energy and also try to influence policymakers so that energy experts are involved in the policy dialogue and policy debates related to energy. And then that's the goal for this think tank. Certainly, my journey has not been without challenges. If you're in the Philippines, if you're in government service, the salary levels are relatively lower relative to the private sector here, and of course, way lower than salaries outside of the Philippines. And that's why we have a brain drain issue in the Philippines. Most of our promising scientists who got their PhDs abroad, it's very difficult for them to adjust to return to the Philippines because it's a big life decision that they'll have to do. We lack career role models. Okay? And events like this organized by PAASE are very important because our young scientists, you our high school students who will be deciding on what course you will take in the university in college, you'll see possible career role models. Okay, where you can pattern your plans, probably mix different career plans based on local scientists. Gaining experience requires years of learning. So if you want to do what I'm currently doing, you really have to love learning. So it's a lifelong of learning. We encountered a lot of bureaucratic barriers in doing science in the Philippines, but you'll have to adjust your attitude. Sometimes you'll have to be an overly optimistic person, but sometimes you have to tame that optimism. Otherwise, you'll get frustrated, and you might leave the Philippines for greener and more convenient work opportunities outside. As you move up in the ladder, you'll no longer be doing science alone. So you have to manage people and resources. And it's a different experience also. Okay? We say that people working in the academy, we say that, oh, we have a flexible working time. No? But the fact is that we're always working. You have to, have extreme time management given the multiple roles that you will assume at work. Now, the last part, let's look at the why. You will not be able to discover your why at this age. But at least you should be able to have this framework of ikigai, as the Japanese call it, the intersection of the things that you love to do, what the world needs, what you can be paid for, and what you're good at. Otherwise, given the many challenges of doing science in the Philippines, you will not be able to survive without your why. Okay? And then you'll discover that along the way as you pursue your career in science and engineering. If I'm a superhero, probably my superpowers are my multitasking skills. my ability to strategize and think quickly. I played chess in high school, and then I recently rediscovered it during the pandemic. So I'm actively playing again. And then lastly, you have to be resilient in setbacks. And resiliency is built by constant suffering and challenges that you experience. So it's important that you get to experience these challenges, and you'll have the right framework and the right mindset to be able to survive these challenges. And lastly, my suggestion is that you build your specialization. Okay, you should have a generalist knowledge, but at the same time a specialist knowledge. And then once you build that specialization, you can now explore other specialization. So there's this concept of T-shaped individual, a pie-shaped individual, and comb-shaped individual. So given my experience and my training, I would classify myself as a comb-shaped individual, because the things that I do are quite different from each other. But of course, that will also tax my time and my brain cells. All right, so thank you for listening, and I'm excited to answer questions later. Yeah, daghang salamat.
Thank you so much, Dr. Joey Ocon. That was a very inspiring and very detailed story of what it takes to become a scientist. And I'm really glad to hear that both of you and Dr. Dadios are both from Mindanao. I also am from Mindanao. You came from the banana plantation. I came from the pineapple plantation. Okay. All right. So to all those who are from Mindanao, here we are, scientists coming from that area. So I guess I'm going to introduce the next speaker. Angie, can I have the slide? Gladys, do you have any words to say?
Oh, I can read it now. I can.
You can? Sige.
Okay,
Alright,
thank you.
ako
very
naman
much.
ng blurred. So you can
Ako
read it.
naman ang blurred. Okay. All right.
Mm.
So thank you very much. Yes, we have very inspiring speakers actually, and I hope we're the young scientists to be here, part of our STEAM orientation, are excited to do science and be part of that part of this journey. So our next speaker is Dr. Edsel Peña, who is a professor of statistics at the University of South Carolina since 2000. Prior to joining USC, he was an assistant, associate, and full professor at Bowling Green State University from 1986 to 2000. He was a visiting professor at the University of Michigan at Ann Arbor for several years, and he obtained his PhD and MS degrees in statistics from Florida State University. His master's and bachelor's degrees in statistics from the University of the Philippines at Los Baños, where he graduated magna cum laude in BS Statistics. As an undergraduate student, he was an INTAP scholar, while as a graduate student at UPLB, he was supported by a Circa scholarship. At Florida State University, he was supported by a graduate assistantship. He obtained his high school diploma from the Philippine Science High School at Diliman in 1976. And he is an elected fellow of the American Statistical Association and elected member of the International Statistical Institute. From 2020 to 2023, he served as program director of the statistics program in the Division of Mathematical Sciences of the Directorate of Mathematical and Physical Sciences at the U.S. National Science Foundation. I know we are so privileged and honored to have our next speaker, Dr. Edsel Peña. Edsel, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Gladys. First, I have kind of an allergy from pollen. There's a lot of pollen here in South Carolina that it has been affecting my voice and throat for the past 3 weeks. So I hope I don't start coughing, but if I do, I apologize. I'd like to start also by recollecting a little bit about my career. And it's good to hear from Elmer and Joey that they came from small towns also in the Philippines, because I did too come from a very small town without much when I was growing up in the 1960s, 1970s. I was from Catanduanes, that's in the eastern part of the Philippines. Every typhoon used to hit it, but that was my life there. And there wasn't much in my town. There wasn't a bus. There weren't cars. I think there was only one bus that could bring you from the town to the capital city of Iraq. But it was a simple life. It was a good life in some sense. So. And then in grade school, when I was at grade 6, we got the information about the Philippine Science High School that there were scholarship examinations. Nobody had passed that examination from my province. And one of my teachers, Mrs. Templo, I still remember her, encouraged me to take it. And she provided us some special lessons in mathematics, and I think it might have been luck or maybe talent or both that I passed the examinations in Philippine science, and I became a scholar there. So that's where my high school was in Diliman. But it's quite interesting to recollect when I went to Philippine science that a lot of my classmates came from the crop of Philippine society. A lot of them were from Metro Manila, and so they came from rich families, while I came from not a rich family, a poor family maybe, and so on. So I felt very insecure on the first 2 years of my high school. I felt I did not belong in that high school. But so those are shocks, and it teaches you lessons and resilience in some sense. But I think it was on the third year and in the fourth year of Philippine science where I said I should focus on my strength. And my strengths were in mathematics and in science. And so when I realized that, I started doing well in high school. So I was lucky to graduate there. And then going to college, we were deciding what to do. And again, I don't think I could have gone to college without a scholarship, but there was an in-top scholarship at UPLB, an accelerated program, where you could finish your degree in 3 years if you pass the examination. So I took that. I actually missed the first day of examination because I was in the province, so I was only able to take the last 2 days of the examination. So, and I got the bare minimum of what I needed to qualify as an in-top scholar in UPLB that paid for my college education there. In terms of deciding on the degree program, I wanted to actually become a chemical engineer, or like Joey maybe, or maybe a degree in chemistry, but I wanted to become an engineer. Except that UPLB did not have chemical engineering, and the deal with the in-top scholarship is that it should be in the basic sciences, like it should be BS Physics, BS Biology, or BS Math, and so on and so forth. And if I take BS in chemistry, it will take me more than 3 years to finish it. And I was worried that if I don't finish my degree in 3 years, I will never finish my degree because I wouldn't have the money to do it. So I said, what degree program should I take in which I'll be able to finish my degree in 3 years? And I could have taken mathematics, and I think that was my plan. But my father said, hey, why don't you study statistics? It seems to be a new field. And maybe you'll have better job prospects to do it. And so that's how I ended up in the field of statistics. And in the beginning, I didn't like it too much. I thought basic stats was more memorization, and I wanted to jump ship somehow to try to get into mathematics. But as I got into the program in the BS in statistics, I started taking the more mathematical courses in statistics, probability theory, mathematical statistics, and I enjoyed that. I started enjoying the field, and so I excelled in that field, and graduated at the university with honors, as Gladys had mentioned. But I wanted to mention something there, that in life somehow your constraints, or the constraints that you encounter, decides a lot of what actions you're going to take. I took BS in statistics because of the constraints of the scholarship. But you do your best in whatever you do. You play your best as you can with the hand or the position that is given to you. I noted that Joey is also a chess player. I am also a chess player. Maybe we should play chess someday. And I only say that you play the position that is given to you, whether it's a bad position or a good position. Play it from there and play it the best way that you could. And that might be one advice that I could give to the young people. Okay. Now, so I completed my bachelor's degree in UPLB, and I wanted to immediately land a job because I was to support my sister with her education. And I applied in Meralco. I think it was one of the big companies then. And I was admitted to have a job there. But before the week that I was going to start at Meralco, I decided to visit UPLB and say goodbye to my professors. I said, I have a job now. I'll be working in Manila and so on and so forth. So I talked to them, and on that week, they said, you cannot accept that job. You have to stay with us. So they gave me a teaching position on that summer of, I think it was 1979. And so I had to give up the Meralco job and become an academic in some sense. So that's how I ended up in academia. Again, it's random type things, but you do whatever you do. And I wanted to maybe become a teacher also. But when I started teaching at UPLB when I was 19 years old. Because remember that I finished my undergraduate in 3 years. So I was very young. That I was teaching my students that were my buddies in the basketball court. Okay, so, and of course they would joke that they will pass the course because they're my friends. But I said, no, if you don't work hard, you will fail my classes. So they work hard, I suppose, and they passed it. But when you're teaching, okay, you suddenly realize that you need to know more to be able to impart knowledge to your students. And I realized then that there were so many things that I still didn't know. So I started reading journal articles in the statistics field, in the mathematics field. And I realized that there are so many things that I do not know because I couldn't understand a lot of these journal articles. And so a lot of them refers to this mathematical statistics book by Harald Kremer, a Swedish guy. And so I borrowed this from the library and said, I'm going to learn this. But this book was way up advanced. It's pure mathematics. It was very hard to understand. So I said, I really need to do a master's degree, and maybe I had to go outside the country to do that. And so that's how I ended up in Florida State. I took the GRE, the TOEFL. I paid the application fees, which I think during that time was $20. But $20 was already a big amount for us. But I paid for it, and I was very lucky to get a graduate assistantship. It could either be a teaching or a research assistantship that paid $5,000 per year. and that was sufficient to live a decent life as a graduate student, no frills and so on and so forth. But I was there and I was very happy. I learned a lot of things, and I learned mathematics. I learned statistics. I did my work, research. I was very enthusiastic that I think I impressed a lot of the professors. I completed my degree, PhD degree, in 4 years. And when I was about in Tallahassee, that's also where I met my wife, Marge. She came there 1 year after me, and I think I was the only Filipino guy there that she likes. So we ended up getting married in Tallahassee. So that's a bonus there somehow. Okay, so but after I graduated, or when I was about to graduate, I was planning to come back to the Philippines because I promised my mentors in the Philippines that I'll be back and to try to come up with a PhD degree at UPLB, develop a PhD degree. But I was married then, and Marge said she'd like to complete her PhD degree also. So I said maybe I shouldn't come back yet. And the other things that my advisor, an American advisor, said you should stay in America for a few years because you'll have more opportunity in doing research. And so that's how we ended up staying in America. And of course, life has its twists. We have children, and as Joey mentioned, it becomes harder and harder to come back. But that's how we decided that we'll just stay in America. But we still are very much committed, of course, in terms of helping out the Philippines. Okay, so that's the thing, and so I became an assistant professor at Bowling Green State University. There were, of course, some difficulties because of visas, but I was able to change my visa, and I was able to pay whatever I owe the Philippines when I decided to stay in the US. So I became an assistant professor, associate professor, and a professor at Bowling Green. And then in 2000, after Marge finished her postdoctoral fellowship at University of Michigan, we moved to the University of South Carolina and as a professor, and that this is where we are now for the past 24 years, and I think we are retiring here maybe in 6 years' time. But I think one lesson that I have is that you always try to do your very best in whatever you do. Okay, so you'll encounter difficulties. There are always people better than you, but you do your best, and when you do that, good things will usually follow, and you'll have a good life. So I think that's my kind of professional experience, and I try to do that. I have many experiences, lots of travels, as Joey had mentioned, as one of the perks of being a professor, lots of interactions with other people. Now, mathematical sciences, statistics, for instance, is a little bit different from chemical engineering or robotics, for instance, that Elmer had. We tend to work more in isolation, where we just have a computer and a paper and a pen, and we think and so on and so forth. That's how we do research. But of course, we also do teaching. We advise students, we mentor students, and I've mentored several students that have also become professors in American universities in other places. Now, after this, I'd like to, because this is a career thing, I'd like to talk a little bit about statistics in data science, and for those that are thinking of going into this field, what you need to do maybe, and what are the things to do. So let me start there somehow. And you would all say, what is statistics? And this is a cartoon that I found in the web, and it says, we muddle through life making choices based on incomplete information. And in a sense, that's very true. Statistics is about making decisions, making choices among possible decisions on the basis of incomplete information. And when you do that, of course, there's always the possibility of making a mistake because you're making decisions based on incomplete information. But you try to systematize that and you try to assess how likely you are making mistakes in your decisions. So in a nutshell, that is statistics. Okay. And but if you ask students, of course, about what is statistics, you'll I put this as a kind of a fun thing. And then this is also the same thing with what is mathematics. You might hear from students, oh, it's one of the hardest courses, or it's a boring course, and the professor is also boring. It is a useless, irrelevant course, a totally incomprehensible subject. Okay, so, and then some might say, it may change my major to biology, so I don't have to take statistics, okay, something like that. Or
Still have-
students are nerds, okay? Stay away from them. Or I got this next one from one of my students this past semester. He said the professor uses so many Greek letters. Okay, so because of course we do a lot of symbols, mathematical symbols, and so on. Of course, there's that thing from Disraeli lies, Trump lies in statistics. So those are the viewpoint from the students. But really, what is statistics? Okay, I'd say that it is mathematical modeling of random phenomena. In our lives and in everything that we do in nature, things are random. Okay, sometimes we think they are deterministic, but there's still randomness. In fact, quantum physics tells us that everything is random. So statistics about or probabilities about the mathematical modeling of random phenomena. It is about summarization, visualization of data. If you have big data, how do you summarize that? How do you visualize that so you could get information from it? It's about designing scientific experiments. A biologist might be trying to compare two treatments. They say, how should we design an experiment so we could actually determine if there's a difference between these two treatments? It's about decision making with incomplete information. It's about assessing potential errors in decision making. Okay. It's also about some of the Elmer was mentioning about decision making. It's about rational approach to choosing an action from many possibilities. Game theory is about that, but in statistics you have randomness. It's about forecasting and prediction. Okay, so like in business, you'd like to predict what will happen if you do something. It's about seeking knowledge in discovering the truth. Okay, so that's statistics. And it's about learning to assess and discern information. In some sense, it really underlies aspects of our lives. Now, we play in many backyards. Okay, as we say, statisticians play in many backyards. We play in biology with biologists, chemists, physicists. We help cancer researchers, or COVID researchers or pandemic researchers. We help geneticists, neuroscientists, and actually some statisticians are neuroscientists also. We do engineering and reliability research, like how reliable are these cars, or how reliable are these autonomous driving cars. Okay, so those are types of questions that we ask. Actuarial science insurance, the basis of that is also statistics. Industrial quality control, okay, like if you have heard of Deming, Six Sigma, the basis of that is also statistics. Detecting anomalies or threats, there's a lot of statistics in that also. Political, economic, or social opinion polls are also based on statistics, and education in psychology, and of course, business in finance. But the essence of this, that as statisticians, we actually get to play with many other disciplines, and everywhere we use that. Okay. Now, there are some very important underlying ideas behind statistics, and the most important one maybe is that of the notion of probability distributions. As I've said earlier, nature or in everything that we do, there's randomness. So if you observe something random, you might think that it's purely random, purely garbage. There's no pattern to it. But when you actually look at the ensemble of things, there is a pattern, and that's an order out of the chaos of that. That's the probability distribution. And in that probability distribution, it leads to what we call as the law of large numbers, that everything stabilizes. I've heard the normal distribution or the bell curve. You have heard about the central limit theorem that leads to the bell curve. And then it's a way of modeling noise when you have probability distributions. If you try to measure something, there are measurement errors that gets into it. Those are the noise. How do you model that? You model that according to these probability distributions. Okay, and as Feynman had said one time, knowing the truth is equivalent to knowing the distribution. If you know the probability distribution, then you say, I understand it. Okay. Now, these distributions have parameters, and these are the ones that describes them, and you want to discover them. And the discoveries of these parameters is what you call a statistical inference. You try to discover that, of course, with a lot of data, but you cannot do that because that's expensive. So you really try to discover these parameters on the basis of just a small subset, which you call as the sample. But in the process of doing that, then there could be errors that are being committed. But that's the role of statisticians. It's an inductive process. Okay, so and of course the underlying theory behind this is all mathematics. Like just to show you, this is the normal distribution. It has a formula. This is what you call as a bivariate distribution. It has a formula also. And then this is what you call as a Poisson distribution, which models occurrences of rare events like earthquakes, traffic accidents, and so on and so forth. Okay, so now things have changed though recently, and there's so much data now that comes about from many different areas: medical, experiments, observational, nature, people, and so on and so forth. So much data that as compared to before, statisticians usually deal with small data, but nowadays we have big data. And this has led to, these are examples, for instance, of the data. This has led to what we call as data scientists. Okay, so things have changed a little bit, and from the usual statistical models, we now have what we call as data scientists, and they deal with big data. We have heard of big data. I think Elmer had mentioned earlier about this. You have networks and so on and so forth. And so you need to analyze this. And so things have changed a little bit. And we now try to do this. And this is what you call now as data science, or in the people that works in this are what you call as data scientists. And there are many questions that you could ask here. Like how do you update knowledge? How do you estimate parameters? How do you determine which statement is correct? How do you make prediction? How do you classify? How do you cluster? All of these are data science statistics problems. Okay, so, and again, I should mention that when you go into statistics, the underlying theory behind it is mathematics. Okay, so, and everything that we do must be founded on good mathematics. Okay, so and this part is about that issue. Okay, so I will not do that. Let me go into. I should mention, yeah, I think you might have heard a lot about artificial neural networks or deep learning, or ChatGPT, artificial intelligence. Those are based on mathematical models that we call as neural nets, and they're actually compositions of functions, but very complicated composition of functions. And in artificial intelligence, what you want to do is to try to train try to estimate these parameters of these functions, and you do that by training based on data. But you want to train them such that they generalize to new data, and that's the essence of artificial intelligence. Now, there's a lot of impact of technology in statistics, of course, and that led to data science. Okay, let me kind of mention to you what data science is, because I think for a lot of young people, they might have heard of this as a possible career. And so, what is it? Now, data science is kind of a combination of mathematics, statistics, computer science, and a domain science. Like it could be engineering, or it could be language, and so on and so forth. Okay, so but it's now a combination of these many different fields. Okay, and uh, the idea here is to try to exploit this big data that is available, that had been gathered, and so how do you make sense of them? And that's what data scientists do a lot now. And I think artificial intelligence, of course, is part of that. And this is a diagram, for instance, of the elements in artificial intelligence, machine learning, data science. You know, the statistics part of it, but I should say that a lot of the methods of machine learning and artificial intelligence are also somehow based on statistical methods that have been developed a long time ago. Now, in 2009, there was an article about the sexy job in the next 10 years will be statisticians. And then later on, that it will be data scientists. So these are things that you might have heard from some publications, but in a certain sense, it's about that. Now, if you want to be a data scientist or a statistician, you need to have knowledge in mathematics and statistics. Here, this lists several topics, for instance. You need knowledge in domain knowledge and soft skills, like how to deal with people. That's an important thing. You need to know a little bit about programming computers, and then you need to be able to communicate and to visualize the results of your thing. So these are things that you have, but I think a very important component on becoming a data scientist is to have a mathematical knowledge. Okay, so to be proficient in mathematical language or knowledge. Now, it's very difficult to be a person that knows everything about data science. If you do, you are called a unicorn. And if you're a unicorn, then you will be in demand and you could demand a lot of money. Okay, so, but that doesn't usually happen. What you usually have in organizations is a group of people that have different specialties on these different fields in data science. So you call us data science teams. This is just a statement about the ideal traits of a data scientist, and that's going back to that one here. Now, so here are specific things what data scientists do in needed traits. Okay, so there's a lot of them. Okay, so if you are interested, you have to choose what kind of specialization you would like to do. You could specialize in mathematics and statistics, or computer science, or engineering. But in a sense, you have to have this kind of broad knowledge in these many fields. These are specific tools that data scientists utilize, and it keeps changing, especially the programming languages. But for mathematics, you need to have good knowledge of linear algebra, maybe calculus and topology, functional analysis. While in probability, you need to know distributions, stochastic processes, and these are random phenomena that are moving over time. And then you have to have these statistical knowledges too, so, and computational aspects. Now, I should mention though that data science also has limitations, and it doesn't solve everything. Okay, so you have to be very careful in using data science, because you could get into biased data science, for instance. If the training data that you are using to train these models is a biased data, then it will also create an artificial intelligence or a machine learning algorithm that is also biased. So you need to be very careful in that. And it doesn't mean also that since this machine learning or artificial intelligence things seems to be more complicated, that they will tend to be better. That's not necessarily the case. There's what we call as Occam's razor that says simplicity sometimes is better, and that holds true in these types of situations. And it's about the complex versus simple aspect of things there. A lot of machine learning algorithms are called black boxes because you couldn't examine the inside part of it. Like ChatGPT, for instance. You do not know what's happening inside it. Okay, now there's a complicated function there, so it's called a black box. Now, but there are simple methods wherein you could examine the parameters of the model. A lot of statistical models are like that, and those are simple models. But there's a give and take between the two. Okay, sometimes it's better to use simple models. Sometimes it is better to use more complex models. And that is that aspect about transparent methods versus black boxes. Okay. Now, let me raise the issue about ethical considerations. And one aspect about this is very important these days is about privacy. Because when you have so much data about, say, an individual, it is very possible that they could be pinpointed. And so privacy is destroyed. So one of the problems that we have in data science or statistics or machine learning is to try to minimize the impact of these privacy problems. Okay, so that's just one issue that is important. Biased data is something that I had mentioned already. And then there's also the possibility, and you might have noticed this in Facebook or social media, where this AI or machine learning algorithms confirms your biases. It feeds you things that you'd like to hear. And that's a problem too. Okay. In fact, it creates groups in society. And maybe that is happening in the American presidential election. Okay. So, in a sense, for those of the young people in the audience who are deciding on a STEAM career, okay, I would say that if you are still undecided on a career path, what better way to become sexy than to pursue a career in statistics or data science? The job prospects in this field are very good. All our graduates, they immediately find jobs. And for those that go into industry, they would typically immediately get higher salaries than their professors. Statistics and data science are very intertwined, so you could specialize in both of them. Mathematics and statistics is very critical for this. So if you like mathematics, this is a good field for you. But I should say that data science is not also the solution to every problem. And there's what we call as the Hammerman principle, where if you say an energy is a hammer, that doesn't always work. So the same thing with data science. I should also mention about mathematics in mathematical language. In 1960, there was an article by the physicist Eugene Wigner. It's titled Unreasonable Effectiveness of Mathematics in the Natural Sciences. And it's about the power of mathematical language, that even though it seems to be artificially contrived, that many times it coincides with reality, it coincides with nature. And that's the power of learning about mathematics and about being proficient in the mathematical language. In fact, 300 years ago, Galileo said, the laws of nature are written in the language of mathematics. So if you like mathematics, this could be a good field for you. And this is a way to learn, to clarify, and then to search for truth. I'd like to end here with some personal advice to the young people. And I think Joey had mentioned some of this. I'd say always be curious and always be inquisitive. Knowledge is power. Always question. When somebody tells you something, don't just believe that person. Try to ask questions so you will find out what the real truth is. Always be a student. That means be a lifelong learner. I'm always a student. I'm always learning new things every day. I always try to learn new things that I don't know about. So always be a student. Joey mentioned this, be resilient. You're not always going to find things to be simple, okay? But good things do not come easily. You have to persevere. You have to be resilient. Be open-minded, okay? Truth is neither subjective nor personal. When you're trying to discover truth, it's not about you. It's about science. It's about nature. It's not about us. So try to be open-minded so you could accept other types of realities, other types of viewpoints. Always be prepared, and you do that by reading, by learning, and so on. An important thing to that I'd like to say is that be unselfish, okay, especially in the sharing of knowledge. We progress because we discover new things. Okay, so if you are selfish, then progress gets impeded. So be unselfish in sharing knowledge. Take initiative always, and have integrity and honesty in whatever you do. As a scientist, you are responsible for that integrity, nobody else. Okay, so you have to do that. And I'd say that, and I have done this, do not be afraid to take risks, reasonable risks. Just say for me, going to America, it was a big risk. I didn't know what's going to happen to me in America, but I took the risk, and it made a lot of difference. Okay, so those are my personal advice. And there's one more slide that I wanted to put here, and this was a Turing Award was announced today, and it was to Avi Wigderson, an Israeli-born mathematician, and he won $1 million for his research on randomness. And there's that statement on randomness from him. Randomness, which is the essence of probability, is essential to cryptography, where unique digital keys are used to lock down data on applications. That's the one that allows us to do online banking. Algorithms that involve random behavior can also help analyze complex situations, like activity in the stock market, a storm moving across the country, or the spread of diseases. So this is the essence of probability statistics. It's the study of randomness. Avi Wigderson won this big award today, I think 2 days ago, and that is what you call as the Turing Award. So that is my last slide, and I'll be happy to answer questions later. Okay, so thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Edsel. And now we come to our final speaker, who is the lone female in this panel right now. Gladys, I think it's blurred on my side of the world.
Okay. So yeah,
Okay,
good
there you go.
morning, everyone. Yes, we're now on our last speaker, and by the way, we have more 158 participants right now who are listening. We are inspiring the young minds right now. So we'd like to proceed with our next speaker, Dr. Reinabelle Reyes, who has a PhD and an associate professor at the National Institute of Physics in UP Diliman under the Gravity, Astronomy, Nuclear, and Particle Physics Laboratory, GANAP. She obtained her bachelor's degree in physics from Ateneo de Manila University, diploma in high energy physics from Abdus Salam International Center for Theoretical Physics in Italy, and PhD in astrophysics from Princeton University, USA. She was also a postdoctoral fellow at the Kavli Institute for Cosmological Physics at the University of Chicago. And recently, she received the National Academy of Science and Technology, or NAST, Outstanding Young Scientist Award for Astrophysics in 2023. Let us all welcome Dr. Reina Reyes.
Thank you, Doc Gladys, Doc Marge, for having me today. Good morning po sa ating lahat. Thank you po for joining us this wonderful Saturday morning or Saturday evening, or if you're joining kung anumang oras dyan po sa inyo, where you
Friday
are
evening.
calling from. Friday evening, yes, sa mga participants from the States. But I believe most of us are here in the summer heat of the Philippines. So I hope you are all keeping hydrated. And I also know na we are going to lunch. So just take this opportunity to share briefly about my own path into science, into a science career. And what's great hearing also from our previous speakers, and you can see na marami talagang ways into science, and hope to share also my my journey, and then of course we'll have time to get address questions from all of you. So feel free lang po to think of your questions. Looking forward to that. Sige, so this is me. when I was smaller, maybe, or it could be you, di ba? Now that you are in school, maybe high school or even younger, and you're thinking about what comes next. And we're happy that you are considering careers in science. And as you've heard, this is a very fulfilling and worthy life and career to pursue. Of course, it's a call, diba? It's personal to everyone. What are we attracted to? What do we enjoy? What are we good at? And in my case, in the case of many of my colleagues here, na when we were younger, at some point in our lives, we heard a call na telling us na this is something that we want to, it's interesting for us. For me, it was medyo romanticized na, pero the stars, you know, of course, we all look at the stars at night. It's romantic, stargazing. But in my case, I was really interested in learning more about space, about the planets, imagining what you know, Venus is super hot. It's like an alien planet. Even the galaxy so far away, and yet we can learn about them, and we can actually study them. So when I was young, I asked my parents for a telescope so I can look at the moon and the other planets. Although sa Manila nga, where I grew up, it's very light pollution na. So wala kang masyadong makita. You have to go farther sa Rizal, or even sa mga sa provinces, you actually have the benefit of seeing dark night sky. But for me, I'm lucky that my parents were encouraging naman of my interest. So a big part din yun. Hopefully we have educators here, parents here, who will also encourage and support interest in science ng ating mga younger people in our lives. So I also learned that the way we understand these phenomena, these different planets, galaxies, and how they behave is through physics. So formulas, these equations that we learn in school, they're so powerful because they actually, you know, they actually describe how the planets move around the sun. And of course, here Einstein's famous formula E equals mc squared explains how how the sun's energy is powered, nuclear energy, of course the radical concept of space and time that relativity introduced Einstein's great theories. So all of that made me wonder, like, is this something that I can also do? As mentioned earlier, we have few role models for science. For me, we didn't know anyone in the family who was a scientist. So it was sa books, di ba? Or eventually sa internet, really, and all this news, all the information that we can get. And now with these technologies, Zoom, that we are now enjoying, where hopefully, we get to, that's why we also do these kinds of talks, is we get to share more and also give you a better idea na this is something that yes, Filipinos like you and me also do, and we're successful at, and this is something that you can do also in your careers. So how do we get there? So that's the next question. And thankfully, we have some mentors along the way. So in my case, my first step was actually going to Philippine Science High School. We've heard si Doc Edsel then, and maybe some here are from Philippine Science and other, of course, science high schools. So shout out sa ating lahat and also sa mga teachers because malaki talagang bagay yon in the start of my own career and in many careers of our scientists and engineers and STEM professionals. And this is also where we found other people who are also interested in what we are interested in. So hindi na siya masyadong, we don't feel alone. So this is a big part of my journey. And from there, I learned na, this is how you continue. So I continued with a BS Physics degree in Ateneo, the Manila University. And from there, eventually applied to diploma program at the ICTP, the International Center for Theoretical Physics in Trieste, Italy, and spent a year there, a wonderful year, where there naman I met other people from around the world who are also interested in physics, and we learned together and we learned from each other. We also learned how to live independently, far away from our homes. And from there, it's like a stepping stone that we can pursue graduate degrees in other countries. In my case, I went to Princeton in the US and pursued a PhD in astrophysics. And in the PhD, that is where, incidentally, where also Einstein worked in the later part of his life at the Institute of Advanced Studies. And of course, the amazing scientists work there until, of course, now. And I had the privilege of learning from them and training to become an astrophysicist myself. And part of that is also the access to resources. So in my case, I was able to use a large telescope this time to study the galaxies and publish papers. For example, we tested Einstein's theory of general relativity on large scales by studying millions of galaxies data from the Sloan Digital Sky Survey, and also did my own observations. I was able to go to Chile to observe, and also in New Mexico, in the US, controlled a telescope. I went to New Mexico one time to observe from there, and then for the next nights, I was controlling the telescope from Princeton remotely so we put in the coordinates and it will point there to the galaxy, and then we get the observations, and that was part of my PhD thesis. So so that was like a sort of one first arrival, becoming actually doing astrophysics research in Princeton, and the whole one key takeaway here is that, and we hear from all the stories, is that in science, mentors are really key, because that's how we become scientists. We learn to become scientists by learning from other scientists and working with them. And I had the privilege of having great mentors, both male and female, at Princeton and in my later career as well, all throughout my career. So that's one advice, of course, is when you're deciding, you look at the programs, but also you look for the mentors who can really nurture you and guide you. And now I'm happy that I am able to pay it forward and also become a mentor to young aspiring Filipino scientists. This is my group in UP at the National Institute of Physics, and many of them are also going to be pursuing graduate school, either continuing with me at UP or abroad. So very supportive. The important thing is that they continue to grow and learn and eventually become part also of the scientific community. All right. Lastly, I would like to share, because this is also to grow the possible role models and stories that you hear about Filipino scientists. Proud to be part of the Pinoy scientists community and platform, and also proud to be partners of PAASE. And you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram. You can also check out the website where you can search for Filipino scientists working here and all around the world in different, all diverse fields, and even get in touch with them to learn more or expand your network. So every week, a new guest contributor takes over the site and shares about their work, their advocacies, and their paths, their challenges. So maybe some of you are already following, so thank you and welcome. And for the others, let's also welcome the others to grow our Pinoy scientists community, and looking forward also to more partnerships with PAASE this year and in the coming years. So we'll end here, and happy to take questions and hear more from everyone.
Thank you, Reina. Thank you very much for your inspiring presentation. We would like to call on now the other speakers to join us, please, here. Please open your video, Joey, Edsel, and Elmer, so we could start our open forum. Actually, just listening to your talks inspired me. Even though you're already scientist as well, but just listening to your journey really inspired me, especially the young generation. I consider Joey and Reina as the younger generations, but they were able to achieve a lot already. So I hope we have questions from our audience here.
We have one question from
start with this.
Zake Ramada. Hello, dear speakers. What advice would you give to someone just starting out in the STEAM field?
Yeah, who would like to start?
Who would like to answer that?
Ladies first.
Lady first. Freda?
Sure. Yeah, good question. Thanks, Zeke. Zike. Advice for someone just starting out. Yes. Yeah, I still remember yun nga, we're looking back. It was really and I guess emphasizing also what I said earlier. I guess my one, I mean, of course there are many advice, but one thing that stuck in mind is yung key na yung mentors. So it's really life changing eh, kasi your mentor will really parang shape your future career, and can and teach you how to think like a scientist, and how to and even the values, the not just the skills. So thankfully there are many mentors that are here, and also you have access to mentors that, you know, because of the technology now we can have mentors regardless of what countries they are in. So here we have in PAASE so many great potential mentors. So it's about finding yours, and then learning from them, and also doing your part, di ba? As a mentor, I know, say, listen to your mentors. But of course, I have to also listen to yung wisdom nga, di ba, na parang what calls you. But at the same time, may practical ano din, di ba, na parang these are the available mentors in the Philippines, or these are the available programs now in the Philippines. So we can also start from there. But your journey will not end there, di ba? You will have many mentors in your life, in your career. But you have to start with, I think you have to start with one.
Right. I could add some. Maybe if you're starting to go into STEM, this is also true for any profession, I think, that you're planning to. One thing that you could do is to read a lot about the biographies of people that were in that field. Like when I was young, I read a lot about Einstein, about Feynman, about the other scientists, and you learn about the culture. What did he do? How did he do it? Okay, so it doesn't become kind of too far out. You know what they did, you know the difficulties. So you learn the culture of science, and I think that is very important. So that could be a start, and just keep reading a lot of scientific materials or mathematics or engineering type things. Yeah, by reading you learn a lot from it, and I think it's more getting assimilated to the culture of the field, and that's my main advice, I think.
Thank you. Next, who? Joey or Elmer?
Si Doc Elmer na lang.
Okay. Well, first, I will put you in my shoes, no? Based on your passion, that's the start. Okay. I studied electrical engineering, as I mentioned, because I want to learn why this tiny wire and a bulb can produce light. Okay, so that's the thing, no? First is curiosity, and then what do you want to do? It's up to you because of that curiosity that you want. So, what is your passion? Do you really want to become to help people? That's one passion, right? So, how would you do? Become a doctor, okay? So that is good because you decided to help people. So, but there are many things on helping people, not only as a doctor. You can help people on creating technology. You can be an engineer because you want to help. For example, you want to help people build homes. So that is a passion. Okay, follow your passion. That is very important. And then the things that you need is already there. Everything, education. I mean, books. Everything is there. Right now, internet is there. So curiosity will comes when you read something, you're curious of that is good enough. And then, of course, for those who really cannot afford, like myself before when I was still young, we are on, as I mentioned, we are in a rural area. There's a lot of scholarships. So you need to apply because that is very important. If you just keep on silence on that, walang mangyayari sa iyo. So, you need to look what are the scholarships. If I want to become a medical doctor, what is the scholarships available for that? If I want to become an engineer, what is the scholarships available for that? So, you need to apply. And then things happen sometimes you are not accepted. Do not be discouraged. Okay? You need to apply again because that really is for me it's like a destiny that you're really on this field. Okay, so do not be afraid of failure. Okay? Sometimes you fail, that's all right. Learn from there. Okay, and then continue knowing things, and of course the ultimate goal, how you become, how to earn. That's the ultimate goal, right? You want to help, but you cannot help if you don't have money, if you don't have the knowledge. So make sure you finish, you succeed, and then you have your own work or you have your own business. So use this STEM to earn money. That's one thing. Do not be afraid of that principle because if you don't have money, you cannot help people. Okay, so I think that's all. I have mentioned a lot.
And
Yeah.
yes, last but not the least, Joey.
Yeah. Yeah, I think at this point in their lives, yung mga students natin will encounter the paradox of choice. You have too many options to explore, yet you have very little experience so far. And nabanggit kanina ni Doc Edsel, no, that the way to approach that is to look at your constraints because constraints have two sides. No? It's a challenge, but at the same time, it's also an opportunity. So let me tell you a short story. I passed UPCAT in 2007. I wanted to be a lawyer at first. So para ano lang, side interest ko lang yung pagiging engineer or scientist. So I passed political science. That was my first choice. My second choice was civil engineering because I like to draw. I participated in competitions. But I also got a DOST scholarship. So when I was able to convince my parents to let me enroll in UP, and to be able to do that, I should get the DOST scholarship. And the constraint was to choose a course in either in sciences or engineering. And in fact, in the old university registrar in Diliman, yung ano pa siya, parang bodega, I was faced with a choice. So they gave me a list of courses that I can still enroll because the slots are still available. And on the spot, I chose chemical engineering. So once you decide, you don't look back. Okay? You put your effort into that choice and everything will work out. Yun lang po.
Wow, very inspiring.
Wow.
I know. Any other questions, or Marge, do you want to let's ask this? This is the only chance we can talk to these very busy people, so we should take advantage of this. Okay.
Okay, here's another question. Well, I just wanted to add to what Elmer was saying, that choose your passion, because if you really love what you're doing, you get paid to do something like that. You're just playing, you don't wake up to go to work. You wake up to go the thing that you love to do. And that I'm one of those fortunate people who gets to do that every day. So yeah. All right, here's another question. What advice would you give to learners who are not good in science or math, but want to pursue math or science related courses?
I could I could start. Believe in yourself. There's no such thing as being bad in something. Okay, so if you really want to do, say, math or science, don't think that you couldn't do it. Believe in yourself, and with effort, you'll start becoming more confident and start learning about it. And we all have doubts in ourselves. As I was mentioning earlier, I felt very insecure going to Philippine Science because it was a different environment. But after some time, you have to examine yourself and you say, what could I do? Where am I good at? And that's where you need to focus. And then you start believing in yourself. So block that out, that part where you say, I'm not good at that. Okay, so
Thank you, Edsel. And also, math is not actually being good in math is not genetically inherited, right? It has, yeah, that's true, right, Edsel? It's not.
well, there's a lot of fear. I think there's a lot of fear of mathematics, but mathematics is a language. And when you start learning, it's like say I'd like to learn Chinese. Chinese, if since I don't know Chinese at all, I would feel that it is a very difficult one. But how do you learn Chinese? You do it aside steps by steps. Just like if you want to become good in chess, you're not going to become good in chess overnight. You have to learn it step by step. That's the same thing with science or mathematics, okay, or music, whatever field it is. It's a process. And in most of the time, it's the journey, the process, the more interesting one, not the end product by itself. And in life, I think we all say, I'd like to become a very wealthy man, or I'd like to become a very successful one. That's not the important one, I think. What is important is that journey, because the journey is where you find happiness and the success and the fulfillment. So I think that's something that I'd like to impart to the young people, that it's not always the end in itself that matters, but it's the journey that is the most interesting.
And I add to that,
Sure.
I
Yes,
agree.
Elmer.
I agree with Edsel. We are born with talents, everything. No, our brain is there. There's no such thing as mahina ako sa math, mahina ako sa English. No. So it's just honing it. So tama yung sinabi niya, conquer your fear. So sa ngayon takot ka, but you have to try. That's the best thing for you to do. Try it. And you know, when you are there, you will find ang dali lang pala. So that's very important. Try to do it and malaman mo madali lang.
We have another question. Aside from DOST or scholarship, what are other scholarships that you can apply for?
Let me start there because I'd like to encourage Philippine students, for those who want to come to America. There are a lot of opportunities for graduate assistantship, which could be research or teaching assistantship. And I think Americans would like to have you because we speak English better than a lot of other people from other countries in the beginning. Okay, so and so you have good opportunities to be admitted. And I noticed, for instance, that there are not very many Filipinos applying in my university. And I kept telling Marge, I said, if they apply, I could certainly kind of push them to be admitted or something. Yeah. So I think that's something that I'd like to encourage those who are willing to come. And it's difficult, of course, but in the end, it's actually good. I know right now, I should be able to add something, Joey.
For me, meron kaming mga scholarships sa Lasal. Okay? So you can apply, especially graduate students, they can apply scholarships also. And even undergraduate, we have scholarships.
I guess you just need to ask. Maging walang hiya.
And also, once you're admitted, say for example in UP, once you're admitted, there are a lot of other scholarships available, not just DOST. Although for DOST, you get it right from the start, you know, from first year. But there are a lot of foundations now that are offering scholarships for specific programs. So all you have to, especially in engineering and in sciences, all you have to do is go to the say for example here in UPLB, in the offices, there's an office for scholarships and grants. I'm sure in UP Diliman as well, and I know DLSU is very generous in giving out, you know, scholarships. They're actually, I know that DLSU's scholarships are very the offer is much bigger compared to the DOST's offer. So I would like to congratulate DLSU for doing that. They even offer from bachelor's, if you want to pursue medicine, right, Elmer? From bachelor's up to the medicine, up to taking medicine. I think you do that.
Okay, so that question was from Rail Rohan Casio. We have another question from Preston Riley Peña. Oh, kamag-anak siguro natin to, Edsel. Hello, speaker. What's your opinion in going through multiple courses to gain proficiency in a single profession? Or should I only put my main focus on one?
Let me reiterate yung last slide dun sa talk ko na try to specialize first before exploring too many fields. Kasi maraming soft skills na translatable naman siya in acquiring other expertise. You should have yung broad na generalist knowledge, but at least specialize on one field first, and then later you can look at other fields to complement your existing expertise.
Yeah, I agree with that. No, the field will just follow. For example, myself, I took Bachelor of Science in Electrical Engineering. The next is Master of Science in Computer Science. The next is robotics. So it's all right, but one at a time. Do not do it in parallel. Okay.
Yeah. I have to say that I I also ended up taking chemistry because of an NSDB scholarship. I got one the last minute. I was supposed to leave to go to Cebu City to pursue a degree in commerce. But the night before I left, I found in the newspaper that I passed the exam. So I had to go to, it was NSDB before, not DOST. And then they have this list of courses. And so I said, well, let me, and you're not allowed to take medicine as well, pre-med. So I said, what is the course I will take where I can have a good job? And it was BS in chemistry, which I never heard about before when I was in high school. And so I did BS chemistry because that was they paid for me, including my clothes, my books, traveled back and forth to Mindanao. And then once I got my chemistry, I really liked biochemistry. But when I applied to Florida State University, the course was heavily laden with physical chemistry, which of course I was not very good in calculus, so I failed. And in fact, my husband, who was my boyfriend then, who was sitting right there, Edsel, would look at my problem set and solve it for me. And I was suffering because I couldn't solve it. So I finally said, this is not my area. I cannot do physical chemistry, but I was very good in biochemistry and organic chemistry. And so that's how I ended up. My PhD is in molecular biology. And then I trained in photosynthetic organisms, and then I trained in yeast genetics. That's how I got my postdoctoral training. But now I'm a mouse geneticist. The job that was available for me when I went to USC, when I followed Edsel, was to become a mouse geneticist. And I said, well, a mouse is just a yeast cell that has a tail and a head. So now I'm an expert in it. So I've been funded by the National Institutes of Health to do my research. So you follow your interest, where you're available, and the opportunities. And as long as you love what you're doing, you will do well in it. I think that's what it is. Never be afraid to change directions. And meet my dog who's sitting on my lap right now.
Thank you, Marge. So we have another question here. What are
Yeah.
the struggles and solutions that you've encountered when achieving these amazing achievements po? So can we hear from Reina? Do you want to start this? I know you didn't have a lot of struggles because you're so good, Reina, but
It's always part of it. But ang naisip ko dito sa question is yung solution and yung, well, struggles and solutions na could be applicable, I think, to any field or any pursuit for excellence or mastery. That really helped me was develop the focusing on one thing at a time, which is I guess and I think it's even harder, more difficult now for our generation and for the younger generation because of all the distractions. Our cell phone is always pinging, social media, and of course, information overload, right? Because as Doc Elmer said, all the information is now there. So now the challenge is different, right? The challenge is how do I pinpoint what is relevant, and then how do I focus on that so that I could become better and become excellent at something and master something. You learn practice. Well, for me, meditation really helped. So I practice meditation, and of course there are many techniques, but that ability to focus and stick with it, despite being hard maybe or doubts but you stick with it, then you be patient, and that I guess resilience then nabanggit ni Joey, so that you get to the other side and then find another challenge, find another thing to learn and stick to. So hindi naman siya nag-e-end, di ba? Pero we also learn to enjoy that journey and being comfortable with the challenge and sticking with it.
there you go. Focus and meditate. Okay, any additional?
My advice is do not stuck to an area wherein you cannot move on. So if you find hardship, for example, in my case, sometimes when you do programming, there are bugs that you cannot solve. Okay, so try to relax, doing play basketball or do swimming. I remember when there are times that I cannot solve that problem, I go swimming, and then even I swim, I still thinking, and then suddenly I found it. So that's it. Do not get stuck to that problem. Okay, you need to relax, focus on other things, and it will just come. The solution will just come. Okay. For example, when I was in the UK, I was already married, and my family is here in the Philippines. So hard if you have children and your wife is here. So, what are the solutions? You will find solutions. How can I go back to the Philippines when I don't have the money? So it's good that my supervisor is very kind to me, and he has lots of resources. So he made me an offer. If you publish a paper on IEEE conference, I will give you everything. Just pick the country that is near Philippines. You can go home. So I picked Japan. It's easy. I go to Japan, then stay in Philippines. So there's an incentive for me to publish papers there because it solves my problem of loneliness. Okay. So that is a very good approach. Solving a problem on other. There are lots of solutions, so don't get stuck to that problem. Okay, so that's it.
I agree with Elmer there. In fact, in mathematics, in the mathematical sciences, sometimes you could spend months and months thinking about the problem and you couldn't find a solution. The trick there sometimes is forget about it for maybe a month, a week or something, and then your brain is still working at it. And one day you wake up and then the solution is there, or you have some of it. So that's one way. So that you could, but you have to be very resilient, as all of us have been saying. Don't give up. If you give up on a problem, you say I just couldn't do this, then that's it. You'll never do it. But so don't give up. Keep pursuing it. But of course, you have to realize that you have to be doing some other things too. So there's some parallel work that you are doing with other problems. Otherwise, you might end up with nothing. Okay, but resilience is important. I think in research, when you're doing research, you do not know if the answer is there, if you're going to be successful. Okay, so that's the whole idea of research, because you're trying to discover something new that nobody had discovered before. So you don't know if the answer is there, but you keep persisting. You persevere and be resilient for it. And if there is an answer, when you discover it, just think about it. You're the first one to know about the answer, and that's the most beautiful thing that could happen. You could say to the world, I know the answer and I'm the first one. Okay, so not very many people could say that. Okay, so that's the motivation, as all of us, I think, would say, discovering something new.
I can add something to what Edsel was saying when he's thinking of a problem. One time he discovered it while we were traveling somewhere and eating dinner. He just stopped eating dinner, grabbed the napkins, and wrote the solution to a whole set of mathematical solutions. And it's like, Eureka, I got the answer. And I'm like, what? The kids are looking at him like, what just happened? But he found the answer when he was eating dinner. I don't know what we ate, but that was it. There's another question that's very interesting from John Paul Polikit. If you're given the chance to do something different in your field, what would it be and why? Intriguing question.
In the same field, or possibly a
Or a
different
different field. John Paul, show yourself.
He's the one who wrote us an email. He's the one who
Oh
answered.
yeah, John. Okay, yeah, we got your email. John, can you say something? Turn on your camera.
Hello po. Can I be heard
Oh,
po?
yeah.
I'm currently at school, so I cannot open my camera. Pero my question is about, as a scientist, we have different ways where we could contribute to our field. If given a chance, given the resources funded to us, if we're to do something different or just one thing, or for example, one experiment that we think could be significantly transformational or significantly will help in our field, what is that thing and why would you want that thing to happen po? Thank you po.
Okay. An
Hello,
experiment in
yeah. Hello, John. My motto really is I do technologies for humanity. So anything that helps humanity, that's very important to me. Okay. Whether I'm on the field of agriculture, whether I'm in the field of manufacturing, whether I'm in the field of defense, intelligence, I will do that for the sake of humanity. Okay. So that's it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it's a hard question because we all do what we do for the pursuit of knowledge. Okay, so and it doesn't matter how big that knowledge is or how small. It's just you enjoy by understanding, and I think that's similar to Elmer's point about yeah, helping humanity. It's understanding. To understand something that you don't understand is, I think, is the most beautiful thing. And there are so many things. Okay, so maybe some of them will be very insignificant from the whole perspective of humanity or the world. But still, when you understand something, that's beautiful to me. Yeah, and it doesn't matter if it's small or big. So I would not say I just want to do this particular thing because if I have a question that I said, what's the answer to this? That's, to me, that's the motivation. If I could find that answer, if I could answer that's where that's what I enjoy. And it might not pay me anything, or it might not lead to anything, but understanding is, I think, is important. And I think scientists have that motivation to understand. To understand is beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me contribute din po dun sa in answering the question. Given the resources, I think I'd like to do what we are doing now at a bigger scale. Okay? So our group in UP is already one of the biggest in the country as a laboratory. But we recognize that in order to develop technologies like batteries or hydrogen technologies, you need more scientists, you need more engineers working on the problem, you need more PhD students. In South Korea, there are probably hundreds, if not more than 1,000 battery research laboratories. In the Philippines, there's only one doing advanced battery research. So it's really a question of will we be able to fund, will be able to have the enough resources to bet on many compounds or different strategies to developing technologies.
That's very good. We have more questions here, so we should keep on reading
Yeah.
them. But some of them were already answered, but maybe they can add more. So here's another question. What's your tips for to thrive in your, from Kirsten? What's your tips to thrive in your respected fields, and how do you consistently find motivation to excel? Although, yeah, most of you said it should be your passion and you should
Yeah.
love learning. That all of you mentioned that, but who would like to add more? And how do you consistently find motivation to excel, to help humanity? That's what Elmer said. Um,
Okay, I can add to that.
Mhm.
You need to have collaborators in order for you to excel. Really, you cannot do it on your own. Okay, the things now is interdisciplinary. That's why I mentioned to you in my research group, I have students from mechanical engineering. I have students from electronics engineering. I have students from biology. I have students from computer science, chemistry, and so on. Because if you want to make a bigger things, it involves everything. That's why in the fourth industrial revolution, it involves biology, physical, and electronics, and so on. So that is very important. Collaborators. You have to cooperate, collaborate with others. The principle of hiding knowledge is gone. Knowledge now is sharing. So you have to share what you got, what you know, you have to share that one. In the same way, people will share it to you also. That is very important.
I think that goes back to the other question before na, do you have to learn everything, iba-ibang specialties? You don't have to do everything. You work with your collaborators and things move faster. Yeah, I think that goes back. Here's another question, again from Zyke Gramada. Hello po, dear speakers. Since some of you answered my question by reading books, can you share any resources or learning materials you recommend for individuals interested in exploring careers in your field?
Well, you can read our public.
You're muted, Elmer.
You're muted.
Oh, am I?
Oh, yeah, meron na.
Yeah, you can read our published papers. Web. It's easier for you to access our name and everything. You can dig in our work. So that is very hello. If you want to know us more, our works, just Google it. You type my name and you can see all publications there.
So thank you. So there's another question here, and then we maybe one more last question, then we can it's already we can wrap it up. So here from Karen Chua, hi dear speakers, how did you know in yourself that this course is for you? Do you have any advice on how to figure out choose courses? I think Reina answered this really well when she presented her calling. Do you want to start, Reina?
Yes, for me, I guess, yeah, for me in high school, I got the privilege of being exposed to the different scientific, biology, chemistry, physics, math, computer science, and physics became my favorite subject. I think because, I mean, it appealed to me. But that's also one thing that we want to that we're sharing here, right? And with this session today is just for physics and engineering, and then they will have other sessions for biology, because science is such a wide field, and when you say you're not good in science, it doesn't really mean so much, because what science, right? There's so many. I'm not good in all of science, right? But there are in biology, I cannot memorize all the parts of the animal or the scientific names. But in physics, I don't have to memorize. Formulas are given, and then I can just solve the problem. So for me, it became, it was clear. But I also made, just to share a personal story. I made a deal with myself and whoever is out there, that if I joined the I joined the physics Olympiad, and I said if I place, then it's a sign that I would that I would continue in this career, and I will go all in. And then I did. And then so it was like a confirmation, right? So maybe there are things like that. Doesn't have to be big, right? But things like that, if this is something that that speaks to you, that you enjoy, that if you and I think what's common also is that it's not necessarily extrinsic motivation, right? Of course, that's important too when there's scholarships and all of that. So the constraints, so we take that into account. But it's also important to have that intrinsic motivation, that even if no one praises us, or no one knows, but we ourselves, if we solve a problem or figure something out, it gives us a joy. That in itself is a sign that maybe that's where you want to be and to pursue. And of course, it's not always like that, but if you have enough hits like that, I think it will keep you it will keep you motivated and will keep you in this path. So I hope everyone will find that if you listen. Sometimes it means also being quiet. Sorry, going back to meditation, but being quiet in the sense that you pay more attention to yourself, to how you react to things, how to respond, and maybe that will help you also become more confident about the choice that you make, or the choice that you will make.
Okay,
Thank
we have a question from Jester J. Good morning, speakers. What do you think is your greatest achievement or contribution to your respective fields? And how does this inspire you to do more?
That's a very good question. You know what? When I came back from my PhD, that was middle 1996. And the Philippines at that time is not known for publishing papers, even attending conferences. In fact, the first time I joined an international conference is in 1993 when I was still in the UK, and I met guys in an international robotics and automation society has 5,000, more than 5,000 participants. That's a big conference of ICT. That was in Nagoya, Japan. And the president of the robotics and automation society knows that I am from the Philippines. And he called me to the stage and he said, "Oh, you're from the Philippines. You're the only Filipino I found in conferences." I was so proud of that. And then I met one guy the following year, Marcelo Ang, and he is a Filipino but working in Nagoya, in Singapore. So I promised myself when I come to back to I will bring.
We're losing his voice.
We cannot hear you, Elmer. A little bit. There. Or we can hear you now.
Okay. So when I come back in the Philippines teaching LaSalle, I promised myself I will bring my students to this prestigious international conference. So I will motivate them to publish papers so that they can present their paper in this conference. And I accomplished that. So that was very fulfilling to me. And since then, I continuously send my students to an international conference.
That's very nice. I think all of us experienced this, that very few Filipinos actually pursue science, right? I remember when I was postdoc in Scripps, I was the only Filipino because they have this map of the world. And then I was the only Filipino there. But after that, there were more Philippines, but maybe there were Filipino Americans because I was really I was not American citizen, so I was just one. So I think most of us experienced that, maybe also Reina in Princeton and Joey, and although in South Korea maybe more Filipinos are going.
Yeah.
But actually it's really that's why we're doing this, to inspire more our younger generation to pursue science and engineering and technology, because we are really actually good when everything is there, okay, given to us. When all the resources are there, we discover that, hey, we're actually all good. We just have to work hard, and we just have to have our passion and follow really what we are good at, and pursue our dreams. We can do it. So that's why they stay abroad. No, sorry. So that's why but please, let's encourage them to come back. And as long as you have the motivation, and being resilient is the key to survive the bureaucracy here in our country. When you want to do science, really, that's the major challenge, especially if you're in the state universities. But we hope that you were able to inspire our younger generation here. And Angie is already reminding us to have a group picture. Angie, please join us. She's been behind the cameras, but she's been really part of this program. Angie, please show your face. And thank you for being part of organizing our STEAM career orientation. Yes.
We have one more question, one last question here.
Okay.
If you want to pursue a course, but maybe this is for Elmer or somebody else. if I want to pursue a course in either of the three, AI, animation, and coding, which college or university would you recommend?
For me, of course, I'm biased with LaSalle, but of course, UP. So I think regardless of the universities you're going to, it's up to you really to motivate yourselves. Okay. So LaSalle, UP, Ateneo, they are the best universities in the country. So whether you go whichever on that universities, I'm sure you are in good hands. Even MSU in Mindanao, I am a product of MSU, high school and college. So that would be better for you also.
So one more quick question, Marge, can you allow me? So do you all accept high school interns? Because remember, I know Philippine Science actually send out their students to go for internship in several universities. I've been hosting some of them as well. I'm sure Reina, Joey, and maybe Elmer has been doing that. Do you also accept interns from other universities? From other
Yes.
high schools?
Yeah, actually, my lab is accepting internship. PSI is always there. I've been accepting them in my lab also.
But
Intelligence.
other schools are welcome, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Good. Okay.
All right, so I think we have asked the question and we really had a lot of attendees. We're very happy that this first event has a lot. Next week, we have another event and we have speakers. In fact, Gladys is going to be one of our speakers who will talk about careers in chemistry. And then I think we have a speaker on a career in medicine, agriculture, and I forget what the other one is.
Marine science. It's ISA.
Marine science. Oh yes. Isa will talk about marine science. So we'll have that. And then the week after, it's not so much focused on the careers, but what kind of jobs do you get? You know, what does a job in academia look like? A job in government agency, job in industry, and having a startup. You've talked to all Joey and Elmer here who have their own companies. How does that work? And so we will have those kinds of speakers. So we invite you to come again, and we'll have speakers, Julius Lianio from the Philippine Textile Research Institute. We have two speakers, Christina Binag and Alvin Kulaba, who will talk about careers in academia. Al Serafica will talk about careers in industry, and then Chari Beth will talk about startup companies, and Edsel will come back again to talk about working in a federal institute in the United States. So we want you to come back again next week and call your friends and hope you can join us. If you want to open your cameras, we can take a picture with everybody here. And there's an evaluation link here that Angie is showing, and I think there's also one for a certificate if you want one. Okay, that's gonna be on the website. All right, so if people would like to open their cameras,
Speakers
Speakers daw muna.
and moderators.
Smart.
what's that? Angie?
Speaker first, an account of 3. So
Oh, okay.
speaker moderators, please smile. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
And now the attendees.
Attendees, if you open your cameras, we can include you we can take a picture of everybody.
So gallery. We'll do gallery. Ano?
Gallery. Oh, marami itong sa gallery. Oh, nice to see your faces, guys.
Thank you very much for attending. Please.
Thank you for attending. We hope to see you again next week.
Yep.
So we have different careers, different areas of research, or not even research, but just careers.
Yeah, and then actually this is very timely because starting next week, Monday, UPCAT application will be open starting April 15. So I'm not sure when is the deadline. So at least we were able to catch that deadline, March.
Okay, good. Yeah.
It's good that and then maybe we can start also, maybe next time we can also invite grade 10, Marge, because grade 11 and 12 are already on a track, STEAM or STEM, but sometimes they still change their minds. But maybe we should include grade 10 as well, kasi yun yung time na they decide to choose which track they would like to pursue in the senior high school.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's good. Yeah.
So may I request the speakers to please write your email addresses dito sa chat box. Maybe they'll be interested to contact you or to join your team for their internships. So please, yeah.
And as Elmer said, you can always Google them. That's what I do, and I try to
Yes,
find.
just Google them because they're very popular. Okay, you have to write them right away if you want to have a slot. Okay.
Angie, are you taking pictures?
No, I was asking Richmond.
Oh, I see.
Richmond.
Can you please open your cameras, your videos for the participants? Hi, Sir John Paul Polikit. Thank you for attending po. How many students did you bring with you?
I think we have around 50 students po. Thank you so much.
Oh, great.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay, konti na nag-open ng camera. So,
So please don't forget to, can we put the evaluation form on the chat?
It's on other.
okay, one is for those who just opened their camera. 1, 2, 3. I think yun lang yung nag-open sa slide 1 lang. So since some didn't open the camera, I will not take pictures for data privacy.
Okay.
I would like to acknowledge also some PAASE members. Doc Billy was here. Yeah. Billy Cabellion was here. And again, thank you. Oh, okay. Marge.
And we want to thank Feb also, who was very instrumental in putting all of these PubMats together. And then Richmond, who is right behind there with the technology. Otherwise, we will not survive. Okay. All right. So thank you again, everyone. And so we hope to see you again next week. We will have different careers to talk to. And there's a note here if they can request a recording of the session. What we will do is we'll post the recording on the PAASE webpage. So if you ever want to come back and visit this and listen to our speakers again, the inspirational talks that they gave you, that's all going to be available. So check on the PAASE webpage. It's paase.org. And so you will find the recordings there. Give us about a week before we put it on so we can put it together, and then we'll post all of this. And if you want to learn anything else about PAASE, we have a lot of recordings of previous seminars in there, fireside chats, and all of our activities are all archived. So we invite you to see that. And I'd like to let you know that you listen to some very inspirational speakers here, and it's not just because you're in high school that you're inspired. When I first met them in person, when I became a member of PAASE, I was also very inspired by them, even though I had a career. So please come back next week and listen to more of our very inspiring colleagues in PAASE and people that are all aiming to do something good for our country and the world through their professions. Okay, thank you so much then. We'll see you next time. Thank you again to our speakers, Elmer, Joey, Edsel, and Reina. Thank you so much for participating in this inaugural event. Okay.
I just
You inspired us again just from listening to you.
You can actually also access the recording through our FB page.
Oh yeah, we have PAASE, the Filipino
Scientist.
Scientist Facebook page. It will also be there. So if you look through Facebook, you will see that. And so we're seeing all this thank you from everyone. Okay. All right. Thank you
very much. Congratulations, everyone.
And hope to see you in the scientific field. So yeah, we'll be here.
Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you, Gladys.
I got 100 plus. Very good.
Okay, that was great. Okay.
You may sleep now. Oh my gosh, it's already 12 midnight.
It's past midnight here. Midnight on a Friday.
Bye,
Bye guys.